Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 5 of the Day After Show with myself, Danielle Staub, and we have
Yvette. I'm here. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for
looking
tuning
gorgeous
in.
and pink, my love.
Thank you. Not as gorgeous as you. I love the neutrals. You look so cozy.
Today. I'm doing the masculine. A little bit.
I don't think not at all. You look great. Hot.
I can't pull it off. I want to tell you though, I fought it today getting dressed. I really wanted to wear like high fashion, and I'm like, high fashion is whatever I put on. That's all I really own besides
period.
Between with me. I either got high fashion or I got my warm-ups, my joggers. And today I wanted my jeans so badly. So I threw on everything else that's wonderful with it. And a little Louboutin never hurts, to
red bottoms, can't go wrong.
And I got Zwang on, and underneath there's Zwang too. But anyway, back to this point, I think it's a rainy day here in the tri-state area, all over the tri-state area. So anyone that's getting rained on today, I bet you're vibing the jean look too as well. So
or maybe you're having a moment like me and you're channeling spring. You're like wanting it to come,
I love spring, but I love all the seasons. I love winter because you can be lazy and nobody cares,
Same.
Spring, you gotta like spring all the time. You gotta jump.
It's true. I don't have that energy all the time for this.
And then we slow down in the summer. But I think it's kind of funny if we're talking about summertime. It's when they were filming this week's episode was in the summertime.
And there's definitely a lot to unpack there.
What is that? 8 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, right in the height of the pandemic, but these girls seem to be leading very active lives.
Oh, yeah.
And very free.
And not only that, not only are they not masking up, they're not covering those 50-plus-year-old asses. I mean, if I did that, I would be judged across the map. But here's the thing. I stopped wearing a thong when my daughters were old enough to know how to spell thong. And I think all women should really adhere to that, especially, it's not funny. I mean, if Bravo thinks that that's what women want to see, like, of society, this isn't behind the gates kind of shit that Andy set out to do. This is called when the ghetto meets the suburbs.
I'm not going to lie, though. Their bodies do look amazing, but and we'll get to their clothes.
I just don't think it's necessary to show all of that. If they were
judging...
It is a lot. For showing what I showed and for talking about my sensuality when I was a single woman, why can't I do the same to them? I'm judging them the way they judged me because you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I mean, there's definitely a double standard for sure.
Yeah, there is a lot of double standards, and we'll unpack all of that. So while we're on the pool party and showing all that skin, which I think is amazing that they can do that and wear no masks and feel really comfortable. I would have had a hard time with that. I almost respect Jackie more for not going,
Absolutely. Yeah. So, the episode started at Melissa's shore house, actually. It was quite a nice house. There's a great big pool by it. Have you ever been to the shore house of hers?
I don't even think that shore house really exists. I think they rent every year in the same house. Yeah, it's not their house.
Okay.
There's no way that
it's beautiful.
Like spelling out things like it's a bar. It's redundant. Okay.
Yeah. It does have heavy Airbnb vibes. That's for sure.
Yeah, big time. There's no way because they just really can't even afford the home they're in now. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of it, and they didn't buy it either. Trust me. It's about as real as growing with Gorga. Going down with Gorga should be the name.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the episodes just keep kind of getting more and more boring. They keep leading to the same thing. Next up, we had Jennifer talking to her dad about wanting him to go to Turkey to see his grandbaby. But meanwhile, this is like, I mean, we're like at kind of height of pandemic here. Maybe things had started slowing down at this point.
And I don't know about Eastern Europe, but I think Europe is London and that they're starting to shut down again. I think they've closed.
That's what I've heard in France too.
The UK. I mean, maybe some of our fans, they can let us know. In certain areas, I'd love to hear from you in the content. If you would just put in the comments whether you're shut down or not and where you're from. I would really like to know this information because I want to pray for everybody that's out there, that people around wearing masks and taking precautions. I think that it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're vaccinated, I'm sorry, but if you're vaccinated, which they weren't during this time when they were filming The Housewives, but even if you're vaccinated, you shouldn't expect everyone to know that you got a vaccine. You should still
Right.
wear,
Right.
rather than
How
sign,
would we
unless
even
you
know
wear
who's
a
gotten
sign that says
vaccinated?
I'm vaccinated. I got the vaccine. Even when I'm registered, I was, of course, my daughter and I were approved, and now we're just looking for the sites to get our to get vaccine,
Nice.
the vaccination. But I'll still wear a mask. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
I wouldn't.
mean, and it's not 100%. I think
Not
there's like,
100%.
right,
I say protect yourself all you can. I mean, if you were gonna not want to get pregnant, wouldn't you protect yourself? Yes,
literally,
but why
literally.
would you protect your life? This is a matter of life or death.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's important.
Next up, we have the Dolores and Frank and David love triangle. Dolores is here talking to Frank, who's not her husband, but she's asking him about, he's helping her out with some fixes for her house because she's not moving into the house that she fixed up with David because they're not engaged. I just have a question. Is this house that she's wanting Frank is helping her out to fix, is that their house, Frank and Dolores' house
Yes,
together?
that's their home together. That's the house, I believe, if it's still the same house that I was in last season when we did the obstacle course, where Teresa and I won, and I believed she was still my friend, which was all fake. That is the house that they raised their children in, and that's the house that they own together. That's the house Frank bought. So, yeah, it's a confusing triangle. It's like the best of both worlds. However, is it really? Because there's more to David than meets the eye.
Yeah, I was
I
surprised
never
to
got
see
to know
David was a
David
biker.
really, so I can't have a strong opinion about him other than he is a constant professional from what I hear from the ladies in the burbs. He's top at his craft. You know, OBGYN, it's special, it's high risk pregnancies. He's really gifted. And I would find it hard to believe that he'd want to be encircled and encompassed in something that could possibly tear at that. But I do believe with my whole heart and soul that he does love Dolores deeply. I
I'm sure
just
he
don't,
does.
I'm not sure if he's comfortable with the situation or not. I'm not.
Do
I'm
you
not
think that
certain.
that's why he hasn't proposed to her?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's either that or he's a little scared to get married. If he's a man of this age and has never been married, you know, what is he in his, he's got to be in his late 40s. I'll have to look it up. If not 50. I mean, Dolores is in her 50s. So I'm gonna go with there's a lot to be said for a man that's never been married at that age and had children. You can only focus on your career for so many decades before it's time to settle down. So sometimes marriage isn't for everybody, is what I have to say about that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Some people decide to marry their careers, which is cool, but I'm sure that can get pretty lonely.
Yeah, I mean, I think David is trying his best to be the best partner he can be for her, but sometimes ultimatums don't really work in your favor. He wants to spend time with her clearly. He wants her to live there clearly. And I think that would be the advice I'd give her if she were asking, and she never would. But instead of me doing what she did to me, I wouldn't take it as a joke. I'd take it seriously if she were to ask me. I'd put down my armor and just say, listen, all kidding aside, it's a great guy. You're not going to get better than that. And get the fuck out of the circle that you're in. Like, seriously, they're going to drag you down. They're already starting to. And David is worth it. I think if she were to get quiet in her career, because this is really, let's face it, careers are something that we really make for real. And then we want to enhance upon. I've been a part of this industry since I was a child. So I'm still a part of this industry. The people that just happened into the industry, like the rest of the cast, they're a snooze fest when they don't
But
have
they'll also
somebody
see
around with
their
vitality.
time will
So
come.
the career for me, they're making careers out of it, but they're doing it by branding themselves and keeping so busy that they're forgetting they have family. And I think that's Dolores's biggest wrongdoing is that she's not spending enough time with her man. And you know what they say, if you don't, someone else will.
Ooh. Well, on
Just
that
saying.
note, we're gonna change the subject. Let's talk
Oh, it
about
ain't
this.
gonna be me, trust me. I really would rather not date someone that knows my vagina from as a doctor's level. Yeah.
I'm dead. No, I would never even assume that. But how about this Tony the pool guy? Very handsome fellow. I guess this is who Teresa was talking to at the time. Have you ever met this guy? And if you have, whatever happened to that whole situation? Because she's with a totally different guy now
Well, we'll see.
that we know of.
Yeah. There's always, with reality TV, and mainly the characters that I work with, there is what's real and there's what's real in season. So if it's in season, meaning they're filming the show or they're doing press or they need something to be buzzing to circle around them so they can get some traffic driven towards the show, it's a matter of their lives of convenience so that they can be relevant to remain on a show. Whereas I never got that memo. And most
Right.
of the other ladies in all the other parts of the franchise, I don't think they've gotten that memo either. There's a few that could like tone it down a bit, but most of them come in really. Denise Richards, perfect example. Actress by trade. She's been a part of this business forever, acclaimed actress, and she's really Hollywood. Why did they tear at her? Why did they do to her what they'd done to me? You know why?
Right.
The reasons I told her from the beginning when we were at Andy's baby shower. Watch yourself because you're the most wanted now. People want to see you. People know you. They're familiar with you. The rest of the cast may be famous, but guess what? You're new. You're interesting, but you're somebody they're comfortable with. They're going to tear you down. They're going to tear at you like dogs with bones. Trust me. And what did they do?
That's so scary. That's how it, like the MO.
Because she could have really monopolized the whole show. She's that gorgeous and that talented. I'm not saying I am. I'm saying Denise Richards is. And
she was really cool. I really liked her vibe on that season for sure.
Cool. Her husband couldn't be more of a gentleman, loves her with every fiber of his being, defends her like an animal, even on social pages, much like Marty did for me.
Well, yeah. Anyways,
speaking take an example from Denise Richards' husband on how to behave when you're dating or with a celebrity or married to a celebrity. That's how you behave, Martin Caffrey. Just say it, okay? You don't behave like an entitled little bitch that the camera has to be on you and that you're the most relevant person in the room and nobody's paying attention to you. But anyway, that's another show. Just word up, guys. If you have somebody in your life that's a female and a constant and she's important to you, don't you let anybody tell you any differently. You treat her like a treasure, like a queen.
Agreed.
And she'll act like one and she'll be loyal.
For
Otherwise,
sure.
The rest is up in the air. On to the next topic.
Yep. So we go into now Margaret's whole book and how this lady comes over and she's helping her write it. And Margaret goes into how she basically went through this Me Too movement moment.
Oh my God. I have to interrupt you because, when I was filming and I wanted to tell my story or even parts of my story, I was told, oh my God, that's too dark. We don't talk about the Me Too movement on here, even though and it's validated. It's in my book. It was legally cleared in my book. They had to call my father. They had to call everybody that I spoke about in the book. They had to have permission from everybody's name that I mentioned to write what I wrote. And that's Simon & Schuster is they who I'm speaking about. The legals in that were particularly difficult because there were some things that even though they were true, I just didn't want them out there. Like, for instance, there was, celebrities in there and that had families now with children now. That
sure, you got to protect these.
I didn't want to do any of that. So what did I do? I knocked their names out of there. It didn't make a difference if people knew their names or not. They could guess who it was if they wanted to spend the time doing so. But here's the thing. I legitimately have a trigger to that name that she had no problem triggering the Me Too movement part of my life in. She knew my story. She knew how upsetting that was. And that all happened to me before the age of 8. It was taken from me by a person that was supposed to be protecting me and teaching me what love is supposed to look like and how a man's supposed to treat you. So I didn't have a father either, if you want to say that by comparison. But for her to come out of left field with the whole Me Too movement thing, she's even uncomfortable when the woman, I recognize her too. She's been hanging around for a while, the cast. She might.
You know what I found particularly strange about the scene was, if you notice, the color of Margaret's nails seemed to change.
Oh my God,
color.
that too. And that's why I wanted to address this too. Someone named Scott, I'm going to reserve his last name, sent me in my DMs a tweet that was tweeted. I promise you guys, when we put this up, I'm going to also put it up on my story. If I can just get rid of the name of the person that sent it to me, but not the person who posted it on Twitter. It doesn't matter, because I'm sure they'd be happy to have it shared. That there's 3 parts in the scene, and the 2 parts where Margaret is wearing the same clothes and she's speaking to the same person across the table. Her nails are like a white or a cream color. Then, God bless you, honey. Then you go to
Thank you.
the biggest part of the screen, and you can see she's got like burgundy or dark nail color on, and she's wiping her tears. So it's right next to her face. You can see it. I can't believe how brilliant you are, whoever caught that. I normally see these things with 1 or 2 tries, but I kind of like was caught up in the idea that she's trying to pass this off as a Me Too movement thing. And I want anyone who's ever been mistreated or legitimately a part of the Me Too movement, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. And I want you to contact Simon & Schuster with how much you are disturbed by the fakeness that's going to be coming out of this book. If she's going to make it a part of the Me Too movement, don't buy it, don't support it, because that's fake bullshit. And I tolerate a lot of bullshit. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. So
you're saying she's exploiting this movement?
She's exploiting me. She's exploiting anyone who's really part of the Me Too movement so she can make a buck. And that is, to me, I mean, she stole my furniture, my art. She's broke up my marriage. She ruined my wedding. She's made sure that she jumped on my house when I left, and all my stuff behind because I had a nervous breakdown because of the whole Beverly thing. I just need to know, when is anyone going to stop this person, this vile person, from monopolizing a whole movement now? Like, I'm done. She can be the person that had sex with her boss. She didn't seem uncomfortable telling the story. She was like, yeah, well, I had sex with him. They can try to soften it up any way they want. And I know what they're trying to do when they brought her.
Well, she didn't really even say.
That's a pickup scene. They didn't play hard enough on the Me Too movement. So they brought her back in, reshot that scene so she would cry. And she wasn't crying about being mistreated or anything. She was crying because her marriage to Jan, she says, was not ideal. Joe Benigno happens to be the first person that she said that she's actually found peace with and love with. And honestly, I'm having a hard time believing why she would understand why she wouldn't want that for me if I were ever her friend. When I defended her and broke every glass in Milan in a restaurant because she was having a fight with Siggy. It was her fight.
I can't wait to see that episode.
It was.
I'm still catching up. I'm still catching up.
Oh my God! When you get to that season, her first season, I had her back when she sat down with Jackie after the girls' trip. She said the same exact words to me when she sat down with me after the girls' trip that I didn't go on. You guys need to replay this stuff and see how Margaret thinks she's super slick. She was hoping I would go away, that she'd hurt me enough, because I used to share with her that I get so hurt, instead of fighting back, I go away. Like the little child that would be raped by my dad, I would just hide. So he couldn't find me. and I wouldn't address it because like that would bring it all up again.
That's a
But I'm not
natural
doing it
response
every time.
that people have with trauma, you know?
Yeah, well, it's PTSD, it's trauma, it's I have dialectical detachment disorder, I have DR, I have all these things, and because of her triggering that Me Too movement that happened to me, and now she's gonna try to use it to write a book. Hell fucking no. Simon & Schuster, you better step up and investigate this woman because you are attaching yourself to a criminal. You're attaching yourself to somebody who's gonna bring it down. Bring your whole glow down. You have a whole building in Manhattan. That's Simon & Schuster. You're the largest publishing house there is. Please investigate her and make her go through these legal improvements that you made me go through. At least verify the information that she's putting out there before you let her print any of that. I think her book will be 2 pages long if they cut out all the lies.
Sounds crazy. I mean, I don't even know what to say, honestly. Like, I don't know her.
I mean, she talks about her
but I
mother as if
agree,
her mother's
everything
a piece
should
of
be
shit. Her mother
investigated.
raised her alone. So what that she loved Vogue and she loved glamour? What the hell is wrong with that? She wasn't out drinking in a bar every night, bringing home different guys. Her mother just loved fashion, and she did love sex, obviously. She still does. But who's to blame her? I didn't have any around. There's people out there that truly had trauma. Margaret doesn't be one of them.
Speaking of moms who want to have sex and love sex, we're gonna go to this pandemic pool party situation with Teresa. Actually, before we even get into this whole pool party thing, like I found it interesting, like there's a separate, shot of every girl getting ready at all their houses before they go to this pool party. Yeah, they do
that. It's the glam
So
pickup.
each crew, there's a crew with each castmate individually, like a camera crew?
Well, yes and no. Sometimes they go from one house and they do the pickups, and then they go to the next house, they do the pickups, and the house that's actually hosting will do the final makeup. Like they'll end up there because they got to film. So there's each cast member does have their own crew. But during these scenes when everyone has to be, all the crews have to be, all the crews have to be at it's good, it's water, and it landed on marble, so it doesn't matter.
It's
I gotta
good water,
Cleef book though. I don't want my Van Cleef book to get wet. So with that said, the crews that are shooting everybody, they all have to be there for when the cast arrives to do their walk-ins. And the walk-ins are usually not the first take. Like they go back in the car, do it again. The greetings go like the same way too. It's not like you just walk in.
Interesting.
Everything is done as a pickup. Oh, can we go back and shoot that? Because we didn't catch what you were saying. We didn't hear it. And that's where they add little things like, you don't know where they're gonna go, so you shouldn't let them add it. You don't know that they're in that moment, those voiceovers.
Because they're interested in this material now.
Dangerous, very dangerous to do that, and I would never do it. But they'd ask me, oh, could you just record a few lines for us? We just need them for pickups. I'd say, well, tell me what the lines are. They'd tell me what they were, and I'd say, no, I'm making a decision not to do that. Well, we can't hear you. Well, fine. Let me hear it, and so I could say the exact words again, because I don't think that's what I said. So no.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you have to be on your A game.
Oh, I want to go get dinner because I'm all glam. So yeah, whatever you want me to say, I'll say. And that's
so
what they
speaking
do.
of this glam, you were talking about the whole thong situation earlier. So tell me again, what did you think about Teresa's outfit? It was very revealing. I mean, their bodies are great and everything, but you still stand by.
I just don't think I don't think that they realize how often they cut on me for wearing certain things when I wasn't doing it for any other reason, but I'm comfortable with my body. So now they're comfortable with their bodies now that they've carved them all up or whatever they've done. So they want to show them off, but I'd be okay with that. Show off your bodies, be comfortable, go nude, be in Europe, go nude.
You just don't like the
double standards, and please, please, please.
Right on. I agree with you.
Wear everything, because not everything looks good on you. Everyone's body is different. And I'm sorry. I think Teresa's body is beautiful, but I don't think she should be wearing short when she's short. And, it elongates you when you wear a long duster over a bathing suit like that. And you leave it open and you walk with your heels on. If you're wearing wedges this big and your shirt's up to here and it doesn't work. I mean, take off the wedges and wear that short stuff and then put on flip-flops or flats. That's fine. But if you're gonna wear something like wedges at a pool party, honey, you come in a duster. You come in a long duster that just kind of blows behind you and you can show all your shit off there.
Kind of like Jennifer's Amazon.
That's for the beach. That's not a pool party attire. That's
What
beach.
did you think of Jennifer's Amazon blue cover-up?
Loved it. Obsessed with it. Obsessed.
It was pretty cool.
She got best dressed, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think she has a drinking problem?
I'm very genuinely concerned for her. I really am. I'm concerned
that was intense. It was very like frat party.
People are laughing and finding it funny. What is this, her third season? All these seasons later, she's still drinking like this to the point where she falls down. No, your kids shouldn't be seeing that. It's not healthy for you. And if she were my friend, I would definitely want to sit down with her and see if we could have a talk. Because I have lived with, including, my last husband, and taken care of and enabled alcoholics. And I also I was married to someone who was a huge drug addict, and admittedly so, and putting them into rehabs. And then there was Oliver, who was, a combination of all of those things that I helped through. So I know when I see somebody that's in trouble, she's in trouble. Now watch how Margaret moves in on it and makes it her business to be a part of that scene. Like she's going to play the hero.
She kind of already has, right? She's like picking her up and stuff. I just don't feel good when I get that drunk. Like, I mean, like, of course it's very serious and alcoholism is very real and all that. I just don't get how people can drink so much recreationally. I mean, I feel like crap when I drink that much. If you have
to drink that much at work to do your job, then you should change jobs.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I never even thought of it that way. But
because we're not working, they're not bartenders. They're not, working in an industry where alcohol's flowing constantly. But if they're doing the alcohol train, it's a train wreck to, have the nerve to do the things that they do on camera or to anesthetize themselves so they don't feel bad about it. Like
that's sad when you say it like that.
I heard about 20 seconds of Watch What Happens Live before I turned it down to, say goodbye to my viewers last night on my live. And the only thing I heard Andy say was, "Do you remember?" And they were joking about it.
Yeah, she was very proud of it on that.
Stage, and she goes, "I'm in and out." If you don't remember your night, mother of 5, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that it took 3 of them to carry her out. I'm concerned that, and Bill's a nice guy, really nice guy. I'm not saying anything negative.
I mean, he was trashed on one of the episodes too, where the guys were carrying.
He was carried out too. I'm concerned that I've seen this couple go from, being kind of stand-up people in the community and a plastic surgeon to boot. I wouldn't want anyone cutting any part of my body after seeing how they behave. I really don't know how that's going to work for him. I've seen other plastic surgeons be on the show as husbands. I mean, there's Maloof, Adrian Maloof's husband. They're currently divorced. They're no longer together, but I didn't see him behaving like that. I didn't see him drinking his ass off and then going and doing surgery the next day or the day after.
Yikes.
It doesn't
That's
work.
So scary.
He's in Beverly Hills. People in Beverly Hills would be like, "Oh, no, thank you." There's so many more. But there's just such a low vibe about this whole story in the cast. Like they're pulling in their parents. I don't like that. I think the parents didn't sign on for this. You did. Like, don't involve them in your story. It's not their story. Is not your storyline. It can't be. I mean, you're allowing it to be as viewers when you play along with it. But don't give a cast member sympathy because it's the parents that actually need the sympathy because the storyline belongs to the cast, not to be used by the cast so they can have some relevancy in that episode. The only thing that Jennifer really filmed for that episode, which means that was a whole week of filming, was that her father.
She had to get trashed at that party.
She had to bring it. And that's, if you're willing to do that for the cameras, to stay on a show, I'm sorry. There's something to be said for that. This is a sickness, and there's a lot of people dying from that too.
I mean, it wasn't the only crazy thing that happened at this pool party. We finally got the confrontation of Joe Gorga and John Pius. Apparently, the way Joe went into this was he's telling John that his payment was to ride his coattails. And if the first event went well, then they would then work out a deal with money. And then John ended up saying it was a miscommunication, but I still feel like there's something unsettled there. I don't know. The dynamic was very strange.
I'm calling bullshit. Here's what I think happened. And, I've been right so far about everything that I predicted, which we'll get to a few of the other things, but that are coming to fruition. I believe wholeheartedly they needed that to end because it needed to be in Joey's favor because, he's cast. So I believe they cut out the parts of the conversation that would have been a little confrontational because you could see John in that scene. Well, I know Michelle. I don't know her husband that well. I mean, I've spoken to him briefly a few occasions over the years, but Michelle, I know well. And I got to be honest with you, he didn't seem like he was all that uncomfortable talking about what it is that he felt he was owed. That was positively the deal that was made between he and Joe. Or Joe.
I mean, I don't know who works for free, so
it's bullshit. I think that growing with Gorga is like going down with Gorga. There is no growth there. Everything is a storyline. So we're going to film Growing with Gorga to make it seem like it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. So you invite somebody that is a big deal, that's bigger than you in the industry, that actually is relevant in the industry, and you're not going to pay them for their services. I say, John, you should stand your ground, get your money. Don't do any further business with him because Growing with Gorga is going to be changed to Going Down with Gorga. He's illegitimate, he's a thief, and he's a fake and a fraud. So you have a legitimate business. It's him that's riding your coattails, not the other way around. Joey Gorga is nothing but a fake and a fraud, just like his wife, Melissa.
Woo! I mean,
who, by the way, did you notice her face when Margaret was talking about getting the book deal?
I didn't. What are you saying though?
She was like,
so maybe we should expect a Gorga book deal coming along sooner.
There's no Gorga book deal. They've tried to write books. What are they writing about? You have to do something in your life. Simon & Schuster went on a bidding war for my book, my memoir. And you know why? Because it was over 6 million Google hits an hour above Obama and the oil spills when I was airing the original season. So
iconic.
There were not just Simon & Schuster, there was a bidding war of over 9 publishing houses, which I went and I sat down with each and every one of the chief editors and the executives, and I still have a great relationship with all of them because I literally believe my story is not one that had to be made up. It flowed out of my mouth into the recorder from my co-author to write. Like it was easy. I was filming the season while I was doing it, but it was also cathartic and it was moving. And I've never read my book, but I could tell you what's in it. You know why? It's the truth. It's the truth.
I'm actually currently reading your book. We're reading the naked truth here, Still gotta finish it, but it's a pretty easy read. It's fascinating. I can't believe how much of a life you've lived, so full.
I mean, once Madonna was quoted wanting to have my life story, she's like, I'll trade you, because that story, you can't write it. You just can't make it up. And that was in the beginning
it's crazy.
as well. I mean, I really feel that if you are interesting enough, they'll find you and they will fight for you to be a part of, well, I'm speaking specifically now about being published author. The Gorgas are not fought over. They're just literally hanging on for dear life. So Joey Gorga looks like he's ready. He's pumped up on steroids all the time, ready to fight whoever he can to stay relevant, because violence is how they came into this. Remember, their first scene was the baby christening, his baby christening for Gino. And literally, he charged his brother-in-law and spoke down to his sister. And there was a fist fight where they literally charged each other like bulls. Well, no, Joey Gorga charged Joe Judas like a bull at a baby christening in front of the whole entire family. So that's what it reminded me of yesterday when he was waiting for John to arrive. I'm like,
oh no, you imagine?
And that's why Jackie, even though I do respect her, kind of like for going along with it, it wasn't her decision. It was not her decision not to go. It was,
I mean, it was probably the wise decision, the wisest.
No, it wasn't her decision. It was the, what do you call it? The producers. They needed it to be about Michelle and John coming in. And what did Melissa say when Michelle walked in? What is that piece? She called her like a name or something. Oh, I don't know why that keeps showing up. I have it in airplane mode. It should not be happening. So sorry about that for the little pause there. Oh,
it's all good.
Sorry. So
it's okay. My headphones actually died too. I had to like scoot out for a second there.
This is real stuff happening here, folks. And I
doesn't get any better than this, realer than this.
I mean, I have a few people that have been like hardcore fans of mine since the very beginning, even gone in and out of not understanding whether they love me or hate me, but they always came back around. And in the end, you know, they've stood by me. They've said that they just loving that I'm doing this, and you're my motivators. So don't stop telling me what you want, because I'm literally here doing this for the ones who love me the most, because this is to show the other sides of me. Instead of your friends asking you all the time, what do you see in her? Just let them see me. I want people to see me, and then you can love me or hate me after that. Not me edited to be the character that they need me to be at every pool party or every restaurant, fake restaurant opening, whatever. I want to get to know everybody at this level. You know, I say things unfiltered. I don't need people to filter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing is unedited.
I think what the difference is right now for the people that have really believed in me and wanted to hear from me and wanted me to speak up is this. They are now sitting back and smiling and telling their friends and their family or their loved ones, whoever has doubted them for siding with me or loving me, that you see, now you see what I see in her. And it doesn't mean everybody's gonna love me. I don't mind. I don't think everyone will ever agree on anything when it comes to people. Some people don't vibe other people. It's just a way. And there's other people that don't understand what they're even seeing when they're watching a reality show. And I'm going to tell you, it's not reality. It's not reality TV. That's not what you're watching. It's really not.
I mean, it seems that way.
The original seasons, it really was. Because nobody knew what was going to happen. There was no reality shows. There was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. And there was Survivor. And then one of the franchises, Orange County, was up, but it was their first season. So really nothing had happened. When we had something to compare, I'm like, well, what is on TV that I can compare this to? Because I don't understand reality TV. What is that? And they're like, it's not reality, it's docudramas. And I'm like, docudrama? So you're documenting drama, basically. Like real drama. I said, okay, so now I understand why you want me, because wherever I go, people seem to want to cause a problem about my presence. And it's my presence. If my presence is your problem, then honey, you should probably choose another letter, because there's bigger problems in the world than me. You know, you shouldn't have a problem with me. You should actually embrace me, because I'm more like you than you think. That's
absolutely.
all.
So it looks like next week episode, the preview for it, you see that Teresa looks like she snaps at Margaret for mentioning, Margaret snaps at Teresa for mentioning that Joe might have heard this rumor, which kind of goes back to that prediction that you made at one of the day after shows. I think it was
I also
episode
made it
2 or so.
When I was at Danielle's viewing party, I mentioned it as well. When that whole scene went down, I said, look how Margaret's going about everything. She's behind all of this. I believe it was pillow talk, and I said it from the start, and I believe she said it to her husband, and her husband just wants to be up Joe Gorga's ass so much that he literally has kissed it.
They all love Joe Gorga, all these boys. They all want to impress him and stuff, it seems like.
Well, because he believes he's the big shot, because Teresa's there. You know, Teresa's his sister. But hell, I didn't grow up with family, and if that's really what family is, so glad that I didn't, because that is bullshit. Like, you're just gonna do that to each other so you can be on
wild. It's so wild.
What? That's crazy. Yeah. And you know who I really I want to get back to that in a second. I'll finish this thought. Margaret snapping at Teresa. Yeah. Here's the thing, Teresa was probably told to say that by one of the producers, or Carrie Ann, who's, you know, the person that does everything for her besides wipe her ass. She reminds Teresa, all of them remind Teresa, oh, don't forget, I used to have to remind Teresa, what are you mad about? Like, Teresa, remember why you came here today? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go do that now. And that's how the scenes are done. So somebody whispered in her ear, said, oh, remember, you're gonna, you know, tell them about Joe Benigno, Joe the plumber, bringing it up.
Right.
And what were my exact words? Joe is like, why are they all acting that way in front of Evan when they just sat there the night before talking poorly about him? This guy, they're really trying to go after him. And I don't think they want to, but they have no storyline. You see what happens when you remove the star?
Yeah.
All the minions start tearing at one another. It happened the last time I left too. Trust me. And it's going to continue happening until one of them goes to prison.
Absolutely. So who are you going to put in the hot seat for this week?
Who's in the hot seat? You know what? I'm going with, I think Margaret's still in that hot seat.
Yeah. She's keeping it warm, that hot seat.
Yeah. She sure is. And there was something else I wanted to mention. Did you pick up on the fact that she said to her housekeeper, oh, I got to go on a diet? She's talking about coconut milk. Going on a diet. Coconut milk is not a diet, by the way. And
that
she
sounds
said,
dangerous.
I have a photo shoot for my book cover. Not because it's healthy, not because it's a lifestyle, not because you need to lose weight, maybe because your organs are getting all clogged up over 50 years old now. You know, you can't sustain a lifestyle when you don't have a healthy diet. You can say anything you want to say about me. I've been called a coke-core or whatever people want to call me. I eat like an animal. And you know what? I eat good food. I eat the right foods, and I know what they are. You have to know nutrition to actually look a certain way. I'm going to be 59 years old in July.
You look amazing.
And I'll tell you what, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life about my looks, about my life, about my independence, my security, my safety. And you know where I found all those things? In me. In me.
Absolutely. Period.
We all have the ability to change and pivot. Any given moment, you can change. You can say, that's enough. I say, that's a fuck enough. I've been quoted saying that for over a decade. I'm going to continue saying that's a fuck enough. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to think about what I want to bring about. And guess what? Everything changes. It all shifts. You want a whirlwind of a change? Make it for yourself, people. Please.
I love it.
Do not mirror yourself after people that you would not bring over to your house to introduce to your parents. Just
absolutely.
Don't.
I agree. So
and make
now,
mama Staub real proud and eat properly. Tune into some of my cooking shows to find some recipes, and just know everyone's body is different. Everyone's body is different, but everyone's body is beautiful. In its own way, it's beautiful. And it needs to be properly taken care of. You don't have to look like a rock star. You don't have to look like a bodybuilder. But, you know, like Teresa, she's like, oh, I can get in shape. My ass is my best. But she didn't sustain it. She did it for a storyline.
Yeah, I didn't see much bodybuilding this season. Oh, well, I guess the pandemic.
Yoga for a storyline. So, and then she stopped that. So, you know, to me, that means it's a mockery to me that I've done yoga for over 15 years. I've done, you know, I've worked out my whole life. I keep things in my life that work. And my pattern is if I do a little bit throughout my week, it maintains me. I don't
Absolutely.
need
a little goes a long way.
Can't just stop and say, oh, I'm going to do this. And then once I get my pictures taken, I'm going to be fine. You're a bulimic model then. Okay. So grow the fuck up. You're over 50. Coconut milk isn't going to do it. And besides, I'm highly allergic to it, but it's not the only thing that you need to do. You need to change other things and start on the inside first, because honey, we can see that and that ain't pretty.
I'm dead. So we're getting ready to wrap up here.
We are.
Before we do, there's this question that I keep seeing from a bunch of different fans out there. They keep asking, what is it that you smell like? Andy Cohen always mentions that you smell the best. Apparently other people say that too. So what's the secret?
And I've been asked for so many years. Please tell me. It's so, you know, it's so funny when I saw Teresa saying, yeah, pineapple juice. That's what makes it smell good down there. No, you smell good down there from years and years and years of good hygiene. And, you know, maybe creating something that marries well with your chemistry that you can wear instead of just spritzing on any perfume. I couldn't do that. So I created my own scent, my own aroma. So it would be specifically mine, known to anyone who's ever known me. If you smell that, you know I'm around. And nobody's ever forgotten it. I've been found in Miami at the Mondrian just because I had on my oil and I mix my oils, I custom make it. And I have to say, sorry, that's my daughter. And she's just done teaching. I have to say, even during massive fights afterwards, Dolores would just come over and bury her nose in my neck. And I'd be like, what the fuck? She's like, oh my God, you just smell so fucking good. And I'm like, you're a bunch of crazy bitches, man. Crazy bitches.
I'm dead. So do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, I can say many things about her, but she does smell good. I can't say the same about Margaret.
I'm dead. Do you have any final thoughts for this episode? After the smoke has cleared, do you feel any differently than you did when you watched the episode last night, or anything, predictions?
I feel better now that you all know what's going on behind the scenes and unpacking here on the day after show, because to me, this is authentic, this is real, and it's the information that none of you have had before me. I'm just keeping it real, folks. Andy can kiss my ass. I'm not going to stop. Bravo can do the same. You talk about me, I'm talking about you. I have, 11 seasons to make up for you using my name. So, my turn.
I love it. I love this vibe. And, you know, thank you so much for spending this time.
And you know what? Being as the rest of the cast had to show their little asses, I might have a tiny ass, but I think my ass is pretty good. Let me see if we can get it into the team.
Let's see. Ooh.
Yeah? I think it's pretty good.
Give us one more spin.
One more.
Well, I don't think they can see me. They were looking at me instead of that booty. All right, my love.
I'm glad I wore jeans now. That's why I had to wear them. I should have come out in my bathing suit, but I don't need to. I think a lot more is left to the imagination. It's better that way. I wouldn't want
Sometimes
to
less is more.
show me everything on the first date. Leave something to the imagination. So no white guinea teas for me. Thank you very much. No wife beaters either.
I love
Thank
it.
you everyone for joining us here today on the Day After Show. I'm Danielle Staub, and I'm here.
And I'm Yvette.
Yep, with my Yvette, and we will be here every week for your consumption. Eat us up, drink us up, spill us out, and do it all over again. But go to my YouTube channel, the original Danielle Staub, and you will see everything that you want to see in all the episodes that you'd like to see. The content's all there for you. Enjoy. Have a blessed day. Much love, and please give everyone a big hug to yourselves. And I love you, Yvette. I can't wait to have a drink with you.
Soon. Bye, guys.
Very soon. Thanks, everyone. Be on the lookout for my my glam shot. I kept it really simple today, but I'm still going to do the walk for you guys. I owe you big time and love you lots. Thanks for all the support and love. And a big shout out to Robin. I just wanted to tell her thank you personally for watching and staying with me all these years. And I'm going to start doing that for my big fans. Like, I want all of you to know how faithful and grateful I am. Truly. And you got to get to know Yvette too. They're all
Bye,
See
guys.
you next week, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye.